The white corridors of USNS Mercy gleamed under the artificial lights as Dr. Lisa Martinez walked through the medical bay. Her footsteps echoed against the metal floor while she checked on her patients. The hospital ship floated silently in space, currently stationed near the Mars colonies. It was 2047, and humanity had spread across the solar system, bringing their need for medical care with them. Lisa stopped to look through the large observation window. The red surface of Mars stretched below them, dotted with the lights of human settlements. She smiled, remembering why she had chosen to serve on a hospital ship instead of a regular space station. Here, they could reach anyone who needed help, no matter where they were. Commander Peter Wright's voice came through the ship's speakers, interrupting her thoughts. "Dr. Martinez, please report to the bridge." There was something in his tone that made her walk faster than usual. When Lisa arrived at the bridge, she found Peter standing with Carol Thompson, their head nurse. Both of them were staring at the main screen with worried faces. "What's wrong?" she asked. "We're picking up distress signals," Peter said, pointing to the screen. "Not just one or two, but 15 separate colonies are calling for help. All at once." Carol moved closer to the screen, her gray hair neatly tied back in a bun. "I've never seen anything like this. They're reporting massive casualties, but the details don't make sense. Some kind of attack, but no one can describe what's happening." Lisa looked at the blinking red dots on the screen. Each one represented hundreds or thousands of people who might need their help. "How far is the nearest colony?" 3 hours at full speed," Peter replied. "But we just received orders from Space Command to evacuate this sector immediately." He ran his hand through his short black hair, a habit Lisa had noticed he had when stressed. Lisa frowned. The USNS Mercy was one of the largest hospital ships ever built. With 20 operation rooms, hundreds of beds, and some of the best medical equipment in the solar system, they couldn't just leave when people needed help. "Show me the closest distress signal," she said. The screen changed to show a video feed. A colony doctor appeared, his face covered in sweat and what looked like green spots. "This is Liberty Colony requesting immediate medical assistance," the doctor said, coughing. "We're under attack by, we don't know what they are. They're not human. People are dying. Our medical bay is overwhelmed. Please, if anyone can hear this." The video cut off. The bridge fell silent. "Play the next one," Lisa ordered. They watched 3 more distress calls, each showing similar scenes. Green spots on victims, strange wounds, overwhelming panic. Peter touched her shoulder. "Lisa, Space Command is ordering all ships to retreat. They say it's a first contact situation gone wrong. We're not equipped for this." Lisa looked at her 2 friends. They had worked together for 5 years, saving lives across space. "We took an oath," she said quietly, "to help anyone in need, no matter what. If there are victims out there, they need a hospital ship more than ever." Carol nodded firmly. "The Mercy is well named. We can't turn our backs on them." Peter looked between them, then at the screen full of distress signals. He straightened his uniform. "You're right. But we do this smart. We go to Liberty Colony first. It's the closest. We evacuate who we can, treat who we can't move, and we stay ready to jump away if needed." Lisa felt pride in her crew. This was why they had all chosen to serve on a hospital ship. "Agreed. Carol, get all medical teams ready. We'll need every bed prepared." "Peter, plot the course to Liberty Colony." As they moved to their tasks, Lisa looked once more at Mars below them. Something terrible was happening to those colonies. She didn't know what they would find, but she knew the Mercy would live up to its name. They would help however they could, whoever the victims were, whatever the danger might be. The hospital ship's engines hummed to life, turning them toward Liberty Colony. They were about to face something no human hospital ship had encountered before. But they would face it together, armed with medicine, mercy, and determination. The oath they had taken would be tested in ways they had never imagined. The USNS Mercy dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Liberty Colony. What they saw made everyone on the bridge stop breathing for a moment. The colony's protective dome had 3 massive holes in it. Emergency force fields flickered weakly, trying to keep the atmosphere inside. Life signs? Lisa asked, her hands gripping the back of Peter's chair. Hundreds. Peter replied, checking his screens. But they're weak. Something's interfering with our scanners. Through the bridge windows, they could see movement inside the colony. Strange shapes floated past the holes in the dome, but they were too far away to make out clearly. Officer Daniel Murphy, their military liaison, stepped onto the bridge. He wore the standard blue medical ship uniform, but his posture was all military. Space Command just sent new data. These attacks are happening across the solar system. The aliens, they're targeting medical facilities first. That doesn't make sense, Carol said, checking her medical tablet. Why would they? An alarm blared through the ship. On the screens, they watched 3 sleek, green-black ships rise from behind Liberty Colony. They looked like giant insects made of metal. They're powering weapons, Peter shouted. Get us out of here, Daniel ordered, but Lisa grabbed his arm. No, look at the colony's medical bay. She pointed to a section of the dome where dozens of people were gathered, waving lights desperately. They're still alive in there. We have to help them. Peter's fingers flew over his controls. The alien ships are scanning us. They can see we're a hospital ship. We're broadcasting all the proper medical neutral signals. For a long moment, nothing happened. The alien ships hung in space, their weapons glowing with green energy. Then, suddenly, they turned and moved away from the colony. They're leaving. Daniel sounded confused. Lisa didn't waste time wondering why. Get us in close to that medical bay. Carol, prepare all the emergency teams. Peter, extend our emergency shields around their section of the dome when we get close enough. The Mercy moved carefully toward the colony. As they got closer, they could see the horror clearly. Green patches covered many of the survivors, like some kind of mold or infection. Medical staff in torn protective suits worked frantically to help the worst cases. Reading extreme biological contamination, Carol reported. Some kind of alien spores. They're everywhere. Lock down the ship's air systems, Lisa ordered. Full quarantine protocols. No one goes in or out without complete protection. The next hours were a blur of activity. The Mercy's medical teams worked nonstop, bringing survivors aboard through decontamination chambers. The alien spores tried to spread through physical contact, but the ship's protective measures held. Lisa worked in the main emergency room, treating patient after patient. The green patches weren't just an infection. They seemed alive, trying to burrow into people's skin. But they found that strong UV light could kill the spores, and a combination of antifungal and antibiotic treatments could save those who weren't too far gone. Doctor, Carol called from across the room. You need to see this. Lisa walked over to a microscope station. Carol had managed to capture one of the alien spores alive. On the screen, they watched it try to change its structure, adapting to each treatment they used against it. It's intelligent, Lisa whispered. The spores, they're not just weapons. They're trying to learn about us through our medical treatments. A new alarm sounded. Peter's voice came through the speakers. The alien ships are back. 3 more just appeared. They're moving to surround us. Lisa looked at the infected patients, then at the spore sample. The aliens were targeting medical facilities because they were gathering information about human biology. Each treatment, each cure they tried, was teaching the aliens more about how to hurt them. But that meant something else too. The aliens were learning about human weaknesses, but humanity was also learning about theirs. Every patient they saved was a piece of data about how to fight back. The ship shuddered as the first alien shots hit their shields. They had to survive long enough to use what they'd learned. Somehow, they had to find a way to turn their medical knowledge into humanity's defense. The USNS Mercy shook again as another alien blast hit their shields. Inside the medical bay, Lisa grabbed a shelf to keep her balance. Medical supplies crashed to the floor around her. They had been fighting for 6 hours straight, trying to save lives while under attack. Shields at 40%. Peter's voice came through the speakers. The ship trembled again. Carol rushed into the medical bay, carrying a tablet with new test results. "Lisa, look at this. The spores, they're dying." Lisa moved quickly to look at Carol's data. Some of the green patches on their patients were turning brown and falling off. "What changed?" "It's the pain medication," Carol explained, pointing to the charts. "Regular human painkillers are poisonous to the spores. We've been accidentally killing them while treating our patients." A group of refugees huddled in the corner of the medical bay, watching them with scared eyes. Among them stood Catherine Nils, a young woman they had rescued from Liberty Colony. She stepped forward. "Doctor, I worked in colony defense. Maybe we could use this." Before Lisa could answer, Daniel Murphy burst into the medical bay. "We've got bigger problems. 3 civilian transport ships just dropped out of light speed nearby. They're loaded with wounded from other colonies." Lisa looked around her medical bay. Every bed was full. They'd barely had enough supplies for their current patients, but they couldn't turn away people who needed help. "Let them dock," she ordered. "We'll make room somehow." The ship rocked with another hit. "Shields at 30%, Peter warned. Catherine spoke up again. "The aliens are hurting us. Every time we try to escape, they drive us back to this sector. They want us here." Lisa watched as more wounded were brought in from the civilian ships. Many had the same green spores, but others had different injuries. Strange burn marks, weird cuts that glowed. The aliens were testing different weapons on human colonies. "Lisa," Carol called from the lab, "I think I know why they're keeping us here. Look at these new readings. The spores are evolving. Every time we kill them, the next batch is stronger." Daniel checked his military tablet. "She's right. Each attack is different from the last. They're using us as a testing ground." The ship shook again, harder this time. "Shields at 20%. Peter's voice was tense. "We can't take much more of this." Lisa looked at her overcrowded medical bay, at the scared faces of the refugees, at her tired medical staff. They had sworn to help people, to do no harm. But now, they needed to fight back. "Catherine," she said, turning to the colony defense expert, "how fast can we convert our medical equipment into weapons?" Catherine's eyes lit up. "The UV lights we use to kill the spores, we could turn them into anti-spore cannons. And if those painkillers are really poison to them, we could load them into the ship's water dispensers," Daniel added, catching on. "Create a spray defense system." Carol looked worried. "But that goes against everything we stand for. We're supposed to heal, not hurt." Lisa watched as another group of wounded was brought in. A small child cried as green spots spread across her arm. Sometimes healing means stopping the thing that's causing harm. We're still doctors and nurses, but now our patient is humanity itself. They worked fast after that. Catherine and Daniel led teams to modify equipment. Carol found ways to make their painkiller discovery more effective. Peter adjusted the ship's shields to better protect their weakest areas. The aliens attacked again just as they finished their preparations. But this time, when the alien ships got close, the Mercy fought back. Blasts of UV light shot from converted medical scanners. Clouds of aerosolized painkillers surrounded the ship like a shield. For the first time, they heard alien screams through their communication systems. The attacking ships pulled back, their green-black surfaces covered in brown dying spots. Lisa watched them retreat from the bridge. They had found a way to fight back. But she knew the aliens would return, stronger than before. The real test was still to come. 3 days had passed since their first successful defense. The USNS Mercy now led a fleet of 15 refugee ships, all crowded with survivors from different colonies. Every time they tried to escape the sector, more alien ships would appear and drive them back. Lisa stood in the converted cargo bay, which they now used as an overflow medical ward. Beds filled every available space. The air smelled of medicine and fear. She checked on a young patient whose green spots had finally started to fade. "Doctor," Peter's voice crackled through her earpiece, "we need you on the bridge now." When Lisa arrived, she found Peter and Catherine studying a large star map. Red dots showed destroyed colonies. Green dots showed alien ship movements. A pattern was emerging. "They're not just keeping us here," Catherine said, pointing to the map. "They're pushing other hospital ships into this sector too. Look." She pointed to several blue dots moving slowly toward their position. "That's the USNS Hope and the USNS Comfort, both hospital ships." Carol entered the bridge, carrying new lab results. "The aliens are changing tactics. The new spores we found on the latest victims. They're different. They're trying to get around our painkiller defense." Daniel walked over to study the lab results. "They're learning too fast. Each attack teaches them more about us." He looked out the bridge window at the refugee ships surrounding them. "We're not their target anymore. We're their bait." A new alarm blared. Peter's hands flew across his controls. Multiple ships dropping out of light speed. "It's the Hope and the Comfort. They're here." Lisa watched as the two hospital ships appeared. They were bigger than the Mercy, carrying even more medical supplies and staff. Perfect targets for the aliens to study. "We have to warn them," Lisa said, reaching for the communication controls. But before she could send a message, dark shapes appeared behind the new ships. "Alien vessels," Peter shouted. "At least 20 of them. They're boxing us all in." The space around them filled with alien ships. Their green-black surfaces seemed to absorb light. They moved in perfect formation, creating a wall of ships between the hospital ships and escape. "They planned this," Catherine said quietly. "Get enough medical ships in one place. They can study all our medical technology at once." Lisa watched as the alien ships started to move closer. Their old defenses wouldn't work against so many. They needed something new. Then she noticed something on Carol's lab results. "Wait," she said, grabbing the tablet. "Look at these readings. The spores, they're all connected somehow. They share information." Carol's eyes widened. "Like a network? That's how they learn so fast. Each spore tells the others what works and what doesn't." "Could we use that?" Catherine asked. "Turn their network against them." Daniel stepped forward. "The water spray system. If we could get all 3 hospital ships to spray modify painkillers at once. The spores would all try to adapt at the same time," Lisa finished. "They'd burn through their ability to evolve." Peter was already sending coded messages to the other ships. "The Hope and Comfort are responding. They've seen the pattern too. They're ready to help." Lisa looked at her team. "We'll only get one chance at this. If it doesn't work." "It has to work," Carol said firmly. "We've got thousands of people counting on us." The alien ships moved closer. On the screens, Lisa could see the Hope and Comfort moving into position. All around them, refugee ships huddled together, waiting. "Everyone to emergency stations," Lisa ordered. "Carol, get that painkiller mixture as strong as you can make it. Catherine, help Peter coordinate with the other ships. Daniel, get our defenses ready." She looked at the approaching alien fleet. "Let's show them what happens when they trap 3 hospital ships together." The space around them grew darker as the alien ships blocked out the stars. The trap was about to become a turning point. One way or another, everything would change in the next few minutes. The 3 hospital ships formed a triangle in space, surrounded by alien vessels. Inside the Mercy's lab, Carol worked frantically to prepare the modified painkiller mixture. Her hands moved quickly as she checked the final formula. "This is stronger than anything we've used before," she told Lisa. "I added antibiotics and antifungal medicines too. If this doesn't stop them." Lisa touched her friend's shoulder. "It will work. It has to." The ship's speakers crackled. "All refugee ships are behind us," Peter reported from the bridge. "Hope and Comfort report ready. Waiting for your signal." Through the lab window, Lisa watched the alien ships move closer. Their green weapons started to glow. Time was running out. Lisa. Catherine ran into the lab, holding her tablet. I found something in the colony defense files. The aliens, they're not just studying us. They're scared of us. Scared? Why would they be scared of hospital ships? Carol asked. Because we keep healing what they throw at us, Catherine explained. Every weapon they use, we find a way to cure it. They've never met a species that could do that before. A blast rocked the ship. Daniel's voice came through the speakers. They're starting their attack. We need to do this now. Lisa grabbed the lab comm. All ships, activate spray systems on my mark. She looked at Carol. Ready? Carol loaded the mixture into the ship's spray system. Ready. All medical staff, full protection gear now, Lisa ordered. She helped Carol put on her protective suit, then put on her own. If they were wrong about this, the strong mixture might hurt humans too. The ship shook again. Shields at 15%. Peter warned. Lisa took a deep breath. All ships, spray now. The 3 hospital ships released their modified medicines at the same time. Clouds of spray burst from their hulls, quickly spreading through space. The alien ships pulled back, but the spray followed them. At first, nothing happened. Then they heard it. Alien screams through the communication systems, louder than ever before. It's working, Carol shouted, checking her readings. The spores are dying everywhere. They can't adapt fast enough. On the screens, they watched alien ships spin out of control. Green patches on their hulls turned brown and black. Some ships crashed into each other, their pilots obviously in pain. The spore network is collapsing, Catherine reported. They're not just dying. They're dragging each other down. But their victory was cut short. A new ship appeared, larger than any they had seen before. Its surface writhed with living metal. Some kind of command ship, Daniel said. And it's powering up weapons. The huge ship fired, not at the hospital ships, but at their own disabled fleet. Green beams cut through the dying ships, destroying them. They're killing their own people, Carol whispered in horror. Lisa grabbed the ship's comm. All ships, full power to shields. The command ship turned toward them, but instead of attacking, it sent out a signal. Strange symbols appeared on their screens. It's asking for help, Peter said in disbelief. These are medical symbols, universal signs for aid. Lisa stared at the symbols. The spores weren't weapons, she realized. They were parasites, controlling the aliens, making them attack us. And now they're dying, Carol added. The whole species is infected. They need our help. The command ship sent more symbols. Images of sick aliens, of spreading infections, of dying worlds. Lisa looked at her team. They were tired, scared, angry at what these aliens had done. But they were medical staff first. They had sworn an oath. Tell them we'll help, she said firmly. But this time, on our terms. The command ship's weapons powered down. Around them, the refugee fleet watched in silence as humanity's greatest enemies became their newest patients. 2 days had passed since the alien command ship's surrender. The USNS Mercy's medical bay now held both human and alien patients. The aliens looked almost human-like, except for their pale blue skin and large eyes. Without the parasites controlling them, they were peaceful. Lisa walked through the medical bay, checking on patients. She stopped at a bed where Carol was treating an alien child. The young alien's skin was covered in dying parasites, but she didn't cry. She just watched everything with curious eyes. How is she doing? Lisa asked. Better, Carol replied, giving the child another dose of medicine. The parasites are almost gone. And look at this. She pointed to her tablet. Their bodies actually heal faster than ours. Once we get rid of the parasites, they recover quickly. Peter's voice came through the speakers. Lisa, the alien leader wants to speak with you. In the ship's conference room, Lisa found the alien commander. He was tall and thin, with deep scars where the parasites had burrowed into his skin. Catherine sat nearby, working with a translation computer. "He says his name is Den," Catherine translated as the alien spoke. "He's trying to explain how this all started." The alien spoke again, his voice soft and musical. Catherine translated. "The parasites came to their world 100 years ago. At first, they seemed helpful, making them stronger and smarter. But then the parasites took control, made them build ships, attack other worlds, spread the infection. They were looking for a cure," Daniel added from his position by the door. "That's why they attacked medical facilities first. They wanted to find someone who could help them." Lisa nodded. "But they couldn't tell us. The parasites wouldn't let them." Zen spoke again, longer this time. Catherine listened carefully. "He says we're the first species they found who could fight the parasites, who understood medicine well enough to help. Their own medical knowledge was lost when the parasites took over." Carol entered the room, carrying new test results. "The modified painkiller treatment is working on all their infected ships now. But we found something else." She handed Lisa her tablet. "The parasites were changing their host's DNA. Even after we kill them, some of their changes remain." Lisa studied the results. "Are the changes dangerous?" "No," Carol said. "They might even be helpful. Better healing, stronger immune systems, but they'll need help managing these changes." Zen spoke again, touching his chest in what seemed like a gesture of respect. Catherine translated. "He's asking if we'll teach them, help them rebuild their medical knowledge. They want to learn how to heal instead of harm." Lisa looked at her team. Daniel nodded slowly. "Space Command won't like it, but they can't deny that helping them is safer than leaving them to face this alone." "We'd need to set up special training programs," Carol added, "teaching hospitals on their worlds." "I can help design security protocols," Catherine offered. "Make sure everyone stays safe while we work together." Peter's voice came through the speakers again. "More alien ships are arriving, but they're not attacking. They're asking for help too." Lisa turned to Zen. Through Catherine's translation, she asked, "How many of your people are infected?" Zen's answer made Catherine pause. "He says, billions, across hundreds of worlds." The room fell quiet. They had saved their own people, but now they faced an even bigger challenge: teaching an entire alien civilization how to heal again. Lisa thought about the alien child in the medical bay, about how quickly they learned, how eager they were to understand. Maybe this was why humanity had spread across space, not just to explore, but to help others. "Tell him we'll help," Lisa said. "All of them. But first, they need to understand something." She waited as Catherine translated. "Medicine isn't just about curing disease. It's about preventing harm, about helping others grow stronger. Can they learn this?" Zen stood straight, placing his hand over his heart again. His translator spoke his words. "We are ready to learn, ready to heal, ready to become something new." 1 month had passed since the first alien surrender. The USNS Mercy floated near the newly established medical exchange station, a massive space facility built between Mars and Earth. Lisa watched from the observation deck as ships from both species came and went, carrying medical supplies and knowledge between worlds. "Amazing how much has changed," Carol said, joining her at the window. They watched as an alien medical ship practiced docking procedures with the station. Its crew was learning Earth medical protocols. Dr. Martinez, a young alien medical student, approached them. Like many of his people, he wore a human-style medical uniform. "The new healing chambers are ready for testing." Lisa followed him to the testing area. The aliens had shared their advanced healing technology, and humans had helped make it safer and more effective. Together, they had created something new. Peter met them at the lab. "You need to see this," he said, leading them to the communications room. Catherine was there, working with both human and alien technicians. "We're getting signals from deep space," Catherine explained. Other species, asking for help. The parasites spread further than we thought. They've infected dozens of civilizations. Daniel entered the room, carrying reports. Space Command finally agreed. They're converting more ships into hospital ships. The Mercy will lead the first teaching fleet. Lisa looked at the star map showing all the calls for help. How many ships do we have? 20 hospital ships ready now, Daniel said. More being built. The aliens are building medical ships too. Together, we'll have the largest medical fleet ever created. Carol checked the supplies list on her tablet. We've simplified the parasite treatment. Any medical team can make it now. And the aliens' healing technology means we can treat more patients faster. They heard cheering from the station's main medical bay. Lisa and her team rushed to see what was happening. Inside, they found Zen standing with a group of alien medical students. They had just completed their first solo treatment of a parasite victim. They learned so quickly, Carol said quietly. And they're so careful to do no harm. Lisa watched as human and alien medical staff worked side by side. The aliens had kept some changes from the parasites. Faster healing, better immunity. But now they used these gifts to help others. A new alarm sounded, but not one of danger. Peter checked the alert on his tablet. A colony ship just arrived from the outer system. Multiple medical emergencies. Everyone moved quickly to their stations. Humans and aliens gathered supplies together, checked equipment, prepared treatment rooms. There was no hesitation, no division, just healers working together. Remember when we thought we were at war? Daniel asked as they headed to the emergency bay. Turns out we just needed to understand each other. Lisa smiled as she watched her expanded medical team prepare for their new patients. The aliens who had once been their enemies were now their most dedicated students, determined to spread healing across the galaxy. Ready for the next challenge? She asked her team. Carol adjusted her medical scanner. Always ready. Catherine checked the security protocols one last time. All systems set. Peter confirmed their course. New coordinates locked in. Daniel nodded. All teams standing by. Zen joined them, now wearing the rank of a medical officer. In clear, carefully practiced English, he said, "We are ready to help, to heal, to make right what was made wrong." Lisa looked at her human and alien crew. The USNS Mercy had changed from a simple hospital ship to the flagship of a new kind of fleet. They weren't just saving lives anymore. They were teaching an entire galaxy how to heal itself. "Let's get to work," she said. The Mercy's engines hummed to life, leading a fleet of hospital ships into deep space. Behind them, the medical exchange station glowed like a beacon of hope. Ahead of them lay new worlds, new challenges, and new chances to prove that the greatest victory wasn't winning a war, but preventing one through understanding and healing. The stars stretched out before them, full of possibilities, and this time they were ready for whatever they might find out there. Because they had learned the most important lesson of all, that true strength lies not in the ability to harm, but in the power to heal.